Welcome to LC Care Stitch. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. God bless you all. In this video, I would like to teach how to make my favorite Camp Collar Boubou Shirt. And the emphasis is on the Camp Collar. So just pay attention and see how I'll do it. Now I'm going to be using this light cotton fabric. It's very, very light. This is for the front and this is for the back. Now the height of the fabric, that's the self edge to self edge, the height this way is 56. So when I divided it into two, I got 28, and it is based on that 28 I cut the back, because this 28 here I'll be taking 5.5 out as my facing, and where I'll be fixing the collar, and so the rest minus the button stand is what I have for the back, and so that gave me 22.5. So let's say the facing I want to use will be like 5.5. So if it's at 5.5, I'll be using 1/2 inch for my button stand. So I'll leave the half and then measure out the rest. That should be giving me 22. I thought it would be 22.5, but the fabric is a bit problematic. Let me just see what I have here, but whatever it is, that's what I'll be using. So this is 22.5. Okay, so based on the 22.5, I'll measure out this so that I can get 23. So 22.5, that will give us the center front, but I'll be using 1/2 inch for the button stand. So I'll push it again to 23. I hope you understand. So now let me measure out and see what I have here. That's almost like 5 inches. So I'll just make sure I have 5 inches running throughout. Okay, so this is it. And then, like I said, the size of this minus the facing and the button stand gave me this. Now I'll place it on it this way for you to see the difference. So this difference here is going to be the button stand. Okay, now the other thing you have to note is that the front is shorter than the back. So let the under, the base or the hem be equal over here, then you see the difference. So this is it. The height I want to use, it's a Boubou shirt, but I want to wear it over a skirt. If I can get, at the end of the day, if I can get 32 inches or even 31, no problem. But what I have here for the back is almost 33 and a half, and the front I have 31. So I actually added roughly 2.5 to it. So this is 2.5 inches longer than the front. Okay, the next thing I'll be doing is to put this away, because if I want to cut the neck line, I want to do that separately. I'm not going to put this over this. And always make sure you arrange your fabric well. Don't just throw your fabric over the table and handle it anyhow. Just make sure everything is perfectly arranged. Just to be sure, I have my 5 inch. So this is because I'm cutting the shirt together with the facing and the button stand. There are other options where you cut the facing separately and join it to the front, the body, and then you can have the same result. Now I'm coming to do the front neckline. The front neckline, usually we do 3.5, 3, but this one I'm going to do 2.5. I'm going to be using 2.5 inch for the width of the neckline, and the depth of it will be 3.5. So 2.5 by 3.5. But for the sake of the button stand, which is 1/2 inch, I'll make it 3. So here, that's 3 inches, but in effect it is 2.5 by 3.5. Then I'll now measure, because this is supposed to be the center back, sorry, the center front is 2, is here. It's on the 2, and the 2.5 will be landing here. Okay, so that's this line here. In other words, this is the button stand, so this is the center front. Okay, and that is where I measured out my 2.5. All right, so now my shoulder to shoulder is 16 divided by 2 give me 8. So I'll place it there. If I add the 1/2 in, then it makes it 8.5. So here, this is where the 8.5 is. So this is where my shoulder slope will be. Sorry. Okay, so now let me do the shoulder slope. The shoulder slope is 1 inch, but I will reduce it slightly to 3/4 because it's a Boubou shirt. Instead of just ruling it out, I want to do this minus this one. I am not going to be cutting that. So I'll mark where the 2.5 inch stopped at. Okay, so I can now place it here. Okay, I'm now doing the neckline for the collar. I hope you can see it. I'll cut this first. Then I'll let this go, and then I'll cut. So this is it. So that's about the front. I'll put this away so I can cut the back. So the back is also 2.5, but because I want to shift the shoulder stitch to drop a little bit, that's why I cut this longer than the front. So basically it is 2.5, but I'll now add 3/4 of an inch. That makes it 3.25. And for the depth, 1 inch. Shoulder to shoulder is 16 inches divided by 2 gives us 8. So this is where the 8 inches is. And then I'll slope it by 3/4 of an inch, just like the other one, the front, just like the front. And I'll just roll it throughout. So there we go. Yeah, I hope you can see it. Alright, so I'm done with that. With the front, I would like to put a short interfacing here. I'll be interfacing up to a portion from this line, the button stand line. And so I have this cut out. Yeah. So I'll interface up to here because it's a Boubou shirt and I'm not even going to fix a button on this. It's just going to be a bit loose. I'll wrap it somehow and maybe put a belt on it if I like. I can wear it without the belt too. So I'll do the interfacing and then I'll after that I'll join the back to the front. Sorry, I have not even divided this. to 2. So after that, I'll join the back to the front, and then I'll get back to you. Stay tuned. I'm done stitching the shoulder. As you can see, I did a flat felt seam for it. This is how I was able to drop the shoulder stitch, or the shoulder line. This is how I was able to drop it, with the number of inches that this one was longer than the front. So this is it. Now I have already cut out the collar. Over here I have 16 by 8 inches for the collar. I also have this for the band at the end of the sleeve. I would like to fix a band there, and I have 6 by 14 inches. So with this, what I'll do is I'll fold it into 2, stitch it, I'll stitch out like ½ inch, open it this way, iron it out, and fold it. Then I have 2 of those, and then with this will give us like 6.5. Half of it to give us 6.5. So I'll just double the 6.5, and that will give me 13 inches. And I'll measure it over here, mark it this way, and then mark 2 inches here, and just shape it into it like this for both sides. That will be for the sleeves. I'll gather this place before I fix the band to it. Okay, but for the sake of the tutorials, it's more about the camp collar. So let's go to the camp collar. Like I said earlier on, what I have here is 16 inches. So I'll stitch a little bit and then fix the rest into this. But first of all, before I get there, I would have to shape the collar. Over here, I'll measure out 3.5 inches. Now measure out 2 inches. Then I'll shape this into this, like so. Then I'll just cut that out. This is linen. Under normal circumstances, we're supposed to interface it, but because it's linen, I'll just like to use spray starch to straighten it out. So before I cut it, I just want to straighten it well. Mark the middle with a notch. Then cut it. So this is the wrong side. I'll just stitch the side and side. Just trying to round up that place a little. Then I'll just stitch the side and side. Turn it over. Iron it out. And then over here too, I have to get the middle, the midpoint. So this is the right side. Then I'll now use the facing to wrap around this. Then I'll give it a cut over here. The shoulder joint that is here should be inside the collar here. So I'll cut this portion, the collar, this plus this together, these three. I'll be giving it a slit, and I'll do the same for the other side. So when I'm done stitching this side, I'll come back. I'll let you see how I did it. So stay tuned. So like I said, I'll cut off a portion and then fix my sleeve. So this is what I'm doing. I'm not done with it. And I've done the flat facing on the side and the goddess. So but back to the main tutorial, that's the camp collar. So I told you I'll be stitching up to a point, but actually this is how I do it. I stitch all the way here and I stitch all the way here, and then I slit minus this, I slit this three, the body and the collar. So I slit it at where before I get to the joint at the shoulder. Same thing here. So I just flip this way and I slit it, and I did that over here too. Then I now open it to stitch the one of the collar to the body this way. So the next thing I'll be doing is to fold it in and fold this part, and then I stitch it. Then I turn this one too out like this. And this will just be folded to cover this portion. Neatly done. And that is it. I'll do the same thing to this side. Then I'll do a top stitch and finish everything up. So that's about the camp collar. So when I'm done with everything, then I'll display it for you to see. Stay tuned. So now I'm done with the stitches. I was able to get 31 inches from the measurements. Look how beautiful my favorite Camp Collar Boubou shirt turned out. Look at how neatly the color is. So with a 1/2 inch, we're able to get our button stand. I hope you try it at home. And if you like this, kindly subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so that anytime I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.